This podcast contains explicit and politically incorrect content.
Welcome to Tales of a New York limo driver, sex, excess, and stupidity on four wheels, based on the best-selling book by Nikki Testaforty. Come along for over 100 stories that range from idiotic to friggin' unbelievable. Buckle up, kids, and enjoy the ride. No more stretches. I was driving a 10-passenger white stretch one night when the dispatcher assigned me to pick up a woman in an exclusive area of Greenwich and take her to the ABC TV studios in NYC. I get to the house, which has a driveway longer than the street I grew up on, wait about 15 minutes, and then she comes out dressed to the nines. On the trip down, I look in the rearview mirror, and she's a little green at the gills and firmly holding onto the door handle like her life depended on it. I ask her if she's all right, and she says that she doesn't feel comfortable in stretches. I apologized and took it a little slower. About 20 minutes into the trip, her cell phone rings. After the conversation, she asked me if we could make a detour and pick up another couple whose car service never showed up. Yet another example of the bottom feeder car services and their exemplary service. I swing by the apartment on Park Avenue in the 90s, and out comes the veteran anchor of the station's local news broadcast. He's blown away that a white stretch was sent to bring him to the retirement party the station was throwing for him. I congratulated him on his 20-year successful run in the business and wished him well. He thanked me, the client thanked me, and we took off. All was well and good until the client's husband called the office the next day and ripped a new one into the poor woman who answered the phone. "You're lucky my wife didn't get sick. If you ever send a stretch to pick her up again, you'll lose my account and every client I've ever sent to you." Do I make myself perfectly clear? Even though the error made the anchor feel special, the guy had a point. Remember what I said earlier about setting the guidelines in your profile? Sedans only or no stretches, this would have never happened. It didn't help that the company I worked for was notorious for repeatedly sending the wrong cars. Another older client put it a different way, and she told me, "I don't want them streckies. My neighbors will think I have money." Out to pasture, no money, but boy does he have a nice seat. I was summoned to an address where expensive homes are tucked away behind trees and long-ass winding driveways. As I pull up to the house, I notice that the landscaping isn't up to par like the rest of the palatial estates I usually deal with. Not that it hasn't been done recently, more like it hasn't been done at all. That was my first clue that something wasn't right. After a while, I see the front door opening, and what peers through is a gentleman who is slowly creeping into his late 80s or early 90s. Upon closer inspection, it looked like two weeping willows parked themselves over his eyes, and to top that off, he had more hair coming out of his nose and ears than I have on my head. In one hand he has a cane and the other holds some nasty red concoction with a bunch of green stuff floating inside it. He hands it to me and says, "Don't spill it." But don't worry, Grandpa. I was afraid that if I did, it just might burn a hole through the front stoop. Now, this trip was written up as an as-directed wait and return, with the first stop being the New York Stock Exchange. Post 9/11, unless you are the mayor of New York City or the chairman of the stock exchange, you can't drive or park anywhere near the building. So he tells me to drop him at the corner of Broadway and Wall Street and pick him up 6 hours later on the corner of Wall and Broad Streets. As we're pulling up, he tells me that he forgot his wallet and asks if he can borrow my credit card so he can buy some drinks for the boys. The boys are the old guard, like him, who are plenty wealthy enough to have seats on the exchange. He bought his seat for $35,000, and today it's worth well over $3 million. I've got less than $10 in my pocket, and this cheap fuck is asking me for my credit card. Congratulations on that investment, buddy. Next time, bring your own fucking wallet. Around pickup time, I'm lucky enough to get a spot on the corner where I can see Wall and Broad, so I get out and walk down the block to wait for this guy. Over an hour later, I see him standing on the corner of Broadway and Wall, waving his cane in the air. I guess in his feeble mind, that's close enough. I get back to the car, circle around to get him, and look forward to what other adventures are in store for me tonight. He tells me he wants to go to a particular bar that he used to frequent over 20 years ago. A borderline senility prevents his synapses from transmitting a clue as to the establishment's name or where in the city it might be located. That's even if it exists, or did the place turn into yet another friggin' Starbucks? Rather than burn a tank of gas searching for a memory, I tell him that I'll find him a bar. And now, keep in mind that the thought doesn't even pass through my consciousness that he wasn't able to secure some folding money from the boys. I pull up to a bar on 3rd Avenue, double park, and help him out. I don't even finish parking the car in a spot I saw at the end of the block before he's banging on the trunk of the car. The realization that he had no money came to him just before he ordered his drink, so he turned heel and walked out, finding me within falling distance from the bar. He gets in and like a sad sack, tells me he's had enough for one day, so I take him back home. As I pull up the driveway, the only light on in the house is the one burning over the kitchen sink. Usually these people have so many lights on that the folks on the International Space Station can point out these places while they're orbiting. I have to call the office to get the charges for this trip, and after I write it up for him to sign, he starts protesting my tip. After that, I felt like belting the guy for being such a fucking tight ass, but I just let it go. And now, not only did he forget his wallet, but he also forgot his damn house keys. Fan-fucking-tastic. I'm stuck here babysitting old money bags while he figures out who he gave the spare key to. After dusting off his mental cobwebs and coming up dry, he tells me to hop over the deck, go through the unlocked sliding doors, and open the front door from the inside. I ask him, what about the alarm? He meekly says, I don't have one. You can imagine when I tell that story, everybody with a loss in his mind says the same thing. What's his address? Anyway, after I made my way through the house and opened the front door, what do I see? Moneybags is pissing in the bushes. And what is it with these wealthy fucks pissing in the bushes 5 feet from their houses? Were they never potty trained? Did they grow up with wolves, or did they learn this in snob finishing school? It's gotta be the elective they take in between Pompous 101 and Condescension 101. Best laid plans. Once again, if you say I need a car rather than being specific about what you really want, don't be surprised if what shows up doesn't work out for you. Case in point, a lawyer who wanted to impress a bimbo from up north and maybe get some later was seriously disappointed when I pulled up in an Escalade. I get out to announce myself and keep in mind that it's about 40 degrees outside. His date comes out wearing a mini skirt, a sleeveless top, and a thin shawl over her shoulders. I ask her if she'll be warm enough, and she says, oh yeah, I'm from Canada. She doesn't have much meat on her bones, so I guess she's got some kind of internal combustion thing going. Trailing a few minutes behind is Mr. Condescending Barrister. He sees the Escalade and makes a face like somebody was forcing him to eat shit. He then says, this is not what I wanted, and then grumbles, God damn her. So, I guess his assistant dropped the ball when she made the reservation. Oops. He tells me to head towards Midtown, and when we get closer, he'll let me know where we're going. On the trip down, Mr. Barrister is trying to make nice and butter up the skinny Canuck. He's telling her stories that he thinks are making points, like he knows the guy who got the first Audi TT off the assembly line. Ooh, I'm impressed. Yeah, right. It's not even working on her. I let him know when we're close to Midtown, and he says, drop us at 48th and 6th. I get there, and as they get out, he says, meet me here in 1 hour. I parked just where I dropped him, and an hour and a half later, he calls and says, why aren't you here? I told you to meet us here. I ask him where he is, and he says, I'm at 49th and 5th. Hurry up, she's cold. No kidding, really? How about I buy you a map so you can learn the fucking difference between 48th and 6th and 49th and 5th? I swing around to pick up the charming couple, and Legal Briefs instructs me to drive down Broadway so his date can see the lights and sights of Times Square. A few blocks down Broadway, sirens are coming downtown behind us, and she says, oh no, That can't be good. I couldn't resist enlightening her, so I said, sirens in the city are like crickets in the woods. Perry Mason fires me death ray eyes in the rear view like I shouldn't have even spoken to his potential conquest. Ah, get over it, jackass. After she's wowed by the ambiance of Times Square, she says a friend is throwing a party over in Brooklyn tonight and wants him to take her there. Oh boy, Clarence Darrow's plans are fading like sand through an hourglass. His date is practically pleading with him, but he wants no part of any parties in Brooklyn, just a party in her pants. She finally gets the message that she's not party bound, and that's when the atmosphere in the Escalade gets colder than Siberia. Not a word was said till I broke the ice with, "Where are we headed to next?" F. Lee Bailey angrily said, "Take me back home." So that's what I did. No thank yous, no good nights, and no tip. That's okay. He's not getting anything tonight either. A van. After a series of ice storms in the area, the fleet manager decided to keep the stretches off the road for safety reasons. More like he didn't want to put the body shop's family through college. So they assigned me a van to pick up a client coming into JFK with 4 other passengers. So I parked the van and went into Terminal 3, which for the uninitiated was situated in a cement hole, and it takes a hike and a half to get there. I'm patiently waiting with my sign as people are coming out and nobody is saying I'm their guy. The dispatcher starts screaming on the phone, "Where are you? The client's looking for you." Which surprised me because I didn't think a signal could even penetrate those catacombs. "Well, where is he?" I calmly replied. "He's standing in front of Terminal 2, barked my joyless puppeteers. Great, another hike and a half through the ice and snow. I finally see his brood of 3 brats and a nanny, and as I walk up, he says, "Where were you? We've been waiting out in the cold for over 40 minutes. Number 1, "Yeah, sure, you have. Tell me another one, Pinocchio. Number 2, "Why didn't you wait inside, you stupid putz?" I didn't even answer him. I just said, "Do you want to walk, or do you want me to come around and get you?" No, let's just get going. I want to get out of here." "Okay, fine. Enjoy the snow and ice with me then." As we're getting closer to the van, he realizes that he's not going home in a stretch. He stops cold and says, "I'm going in a van? Oh no, this is unacceptable. I want a stretch." I explained to him what the Minister of Vehicles proclaimed, and he proceeded to doubt the severity of the ice conditions. So I just said, "Well, what do you want to do then?" He realized he didn't have too many choices. So he said, "Fine, but I'm not paying for this." "Oh, yes you will, Sparky." He then informs me that we have to make one stop on Park Avenue before we head up to Westchester, hopefully to dump him off on the curb without stopping. As I'm leaving the parking lot, he calls his personal assistant and says, "Can you believe I'm in a van?" He then tells her to call the limo company and tell them he's not paying for the trip because the driver was late and he didn't come with a stretch. "Keep it up, buddy. I just might drop you where you'll never find your way back." Karma number 1. He then asked her for the FedEx tracking numbers for the luggage he shipped. She told him that she threw them out, so he had no way of knowing if his dirty clothes were waiting on his stoop for him or not. Karma number 2. On the way to the Park Avenue stop, his kids are saying, "Wow, Daddy, wait till you see Mommy's new apartment. It's really high up. It's got a really big terrace with nice marble on the floor," and the kids just keep piling it on. The picture's finally getting clearer. This was his visitation time with the kids, and the nanny came along to snitch him out as well as care for them because he's incapable of doing it. He's definitely not looking forward to going upstairs and facing her as she gloats about the new digs that he's onerously paying for. Karma number 3. As they get out, the nanny shoots me a look like, "Can you believe this guy?" I just smiled and shrugged my shoulders. They all go upstairs, and after about a half hour, the nanny and the idiot came back down. The nanny starts to say goodbye, and I step all over what the idiot is trying to say. "Where are you going?" "I'll drop you there." The idiot agrees like it's his idea, so they both get in, and I drop her off at a downtown subway station. On the way to the second stop in Westchester, he apologized to me saying it wasn't my fault that they gave me a van to pick him up, but he still wanted to call the company and complain anyway. You could see that the experience of his ex-wife rubbing his nose in her new and improved situation didn't sit too well with him and also knocked him down a few pegs. The more he thought about it, the more he got aggravated. We're finally getting down to the local streets near the last stop, and as we pull up, he gets out and proceeds to dispense some unwarranted fatherly advice. Don't ever marry a fucking lawyer. And don't worry, Sage, I married well. See? It all comes back to you. Here's a news flash for you. If you're racing along and see a cop on the side of the road with his lights blazing and some poor bastard pulled over in front of him with an "ah, fuck, why me?" look on his face. Don't slow down. He's not tagging you with radar. He's too busy reading that guy the riot act and writing him up. If he wanted to tag you, he'd be hiding on the on-ramp, patiently waiting to swoop down and bust your balls. That concludes the news flash, boys and girls. Now run along. How'd you like those stories? If you did, please comment, subscribe, and spread the word. I'd really appreciate it. Until next time, take care and have a good one.
This podcast is a production of Testa40 Studios, and no content may be repurposed without express written consent.